You have lost more lives in detention than anybody else. That is your record right now. So I don't expect that y'all are going to be the ones that are going to be best to keep them safe. This is why we are supposed to conduct oversight and not wait for you to give permission. In fact, after I left the Dilley facility, we were informed of a measles outbreak that was taking place in that facility. And another question I have, are you the one that ordered it to be reopened because that facility was closed under Joe Biden?
This hearing took a sharp turn fast. Representative Jasmine Crockett came in aggressive, holding nothing back as she grilled Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. From deaths in detention to blocked oversight and even a federal judge calling things out, this quickly became one of the most tense moments of the entire hearing. I'll share my honest take at the end, but first, watch this.
The gentlelady from Texas is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. And Madam Secretary, you are almost to the end, so congratulations. I just have a couple of questions. Are you aware that the law that was written by this Congress makes it clear that members of Congress are allowed to, entitled to enter any detention?
Representative Crockett, I apologize. I have to run to vote in another committee, Secretary, and Mr. Schmidt will chair, and you will get extra 15 seconds, but I apologize for that.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much
Mr.
for your
Chairman.
testimony.
Appreciate it.
Are you aware that the law makes it clear that members of Congress are allowed to enter any detention facility at any point in time in which they choose to?
Yes, I'm aware of the visitation and oversight responsibility, and we work every day to try to accommodate members of Congress while taking into account the safety of those individuals that are being detained
be clear.
there.
At any time, correct?
Yes, I understand there's litigation in this area.
No,
too, so
that's not
we
my
are
question. I'm not
facilitating
asking you
that.
about litigation.
Yeah.
I'm asking you what the law is, because let me put it to you this
There's
way.
an appropriations rider that talks about
Correct,
oversight.
and appropriations
That is
are law, because you are asking us to
correct.
appropriate dollars right now for DHS, correct?
Correct.
And if we do that, you would take that as law, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that is what the law states, yet somehow, myself and another colleague, Congressman Castro, we ended up giving a 7-day notice to the Dilley detention facility because I had actually already gone to El Paso before. And when I went to that facility and I asked them why it was that they were requiring me to do something that specifically my branch of government had dictated was not required, they said it was because of you. They said you were the one that said that they were not allowed to allow us entry unless we gave a 7 days heads up. Is that true?
The law specifically states oversight and visitations, and we are working to
My question
facilitate
is,
those, and we're at that time working
did you
to
give the instruction that members must give a 7 days heads up or not?
We had a policy in place that allowed us to get the
Did you,
staff
were you
there
the
to
one that ordered that
facilitate.
policy?
I have a responsibility for ensuring everybody in that
Okay.
facility is going to be safe, and that I have
Okay,
adequate
no, but that's not
staff
my question, because
to
the
conduct
problem,
a
let
tour
me
and
tell you why we
oversight
need
the
to.
same.
This is where the tension really spikes, as Crockett shifts from controlled questioning to direct accusations, forcing clear answers. The atmosphere tightens, and you can feel the pressure building. What started as routine oversight now feels like a serious confrontation, with both sides locked in a moment that could define the entire hearing.
Reclaiming my time. The reason that I'm talking to you about this policy and you're talking to me about safety is because I did go into the Dilley detention facility. And let me tell you, they're not safe. This is why we need to conduct oversight, because your people continue. In fact, you have lost more lives in detention than anybody else. That is your record right now. So I don't expect that y'all are going to be the ones that are going to be best to keep them safe. This is why we are supposed to conduct oversight and not wait for you to give permission. In fact, after I left the Dilley facility, we were informed of a measles outbreak that was taking place in that facility. And another question I have, are you the one that ordered it to be reopened because that facility was closed under Joe Biden?
Those facilities were opened with the new administration. I'd have to look
Okay,
and
you're
see
part
if
of the
that
new
was-
administration. Were you the one that ordered it to be open is my question.
I would have to see when it was opened, because I wasn't sworn in until 5 days after
Okay,
the
well,
president was
it was
out.
reopened
So
in
I
March.
would have to look at when
It was reopened in March of last year.
Well, then I'm sure that contract would have been renewed while I was secretary.
Speaking of contracts, as I have, actually, you know what? Let me continue on this line of y'all breaking the law. Are you familiar with a child by the name of Liam Ramos?
I am.
All right, so Liam was at this Dilley facility, and it just so happened that we had put in our 7 days notice, and y'all had grabbed him 6 days prior to our visit. So we were able to go and visit Liam. Are you aware of the court order that came down that released Liam from custody?
I am.
And are you aware that the judge said the case has its genesis in an ill-conceived and incompetently implemented government pursuit of daily deportation quotas, apparently even if it requires traumatizing children? This court and others regularly send undocumented people to prison and orders them deported, but do so by proper legal procedures. Are you aware of that?
Yes, and I would disagree with the judge on several
I'm
points
sure you would,
in
but can
there.
you tell me whether or not
That
you have a law
father-
degree?
Father chose to
Can you
to
tell
have
me whether or
Liam
not you
be
have a law
with him.
degree?
If I have what?
A law degree.
No, I do not have a
Okay,
law degree.
and you do understand, because I can go through a bunch of court cases and orders that I disagree with from the Supreme Court, that ultimately, that is the order of the court. That is what you follow, and if you have an issue, you appeal it up, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. The court went on to say, apparent also is the government's ignorance of an American historical document called the Declaration of Independence. 33-year-old Thomas Jefferson enumerated grievances against a would-be authoritarian king over his nascent nation. Among others were, he has sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people. He has excited domestic insurrection among us, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us. He has kept us among, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. Are you aware that he wrote that? Do you know that he was writing about ICE that falls under you?
The judge?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. With that, I will yield, but I do have two UCs. The first UC is ICE training was slashed, records show corroborating whistleblower claims from the Washington Post on yesterday.
Without objection.
The second one is FEMA's response to Texas flood slowed by Noem's cost controls. This is out of CNN from July 10th of 2025.
Without objection.
Thank you so much.
What you just watched wasn't a routine oversight exchange. It felt like something finally snapped. Like pressure building for too long and then suddenly releasing all at once. Jasmine Crockett started calm, almost light, even congratulating Noem for making it through the hearing. But that tone shifted quickly. The moment detention conditions and oversight came up, everything changed. The questions got sharper. The energy got heavier. Crockett wasn't there for polished answers or rehearsed talking points. She was there for accountability. And then came the line that hit hard, accusing Noem of overseeing more detention deaths than anyone else. That wasn't just criticism. That was a direct hit on leadership. From that point on, Crockett took full control. Every time Noem tried to expand, Crockett narrowed it down. Simple, direct, yes or no. Did you order it? Did you change the policy? Did you override the law? No shouting, no chaos, just relentless pressure. And that's what made it so uncomfortable to watch. Then came the moment that blew up online, the law degree question. But it wasn't really about credentials. It was about authority. If judges are issuing rulings and courts are pushing back, who actually has the final say? Crockett made it clear you don't get to ignore a court order just because you disagree with it. That line drew a hard boundary between politics and the rule of law, and that's why this moment went viral. It tapped into something bigger: frustration over transparency. Detention centers being off limits, outbreaks, lawsuits, and constant claims that everything is under control. Crockett didn't just repeat what people were already hearing. She reflected what they were already feeling. That's why people aren't just reacting, they're choosing sides. This didn't feel like a policy debate. It felt like a fight over accountability. And whether you agree with her or not, one thing is clear. Crockett controlled that entire exchange. Because when a cabinet official starts looking defensive instead of confident, people notice. In moments like that, they stick.